We talked about the problems of change, the obstacles to change, why change fails. We talked about the structure where change succeeds. But very few people, consultants, purveyors of ideas and concepts and theoretical models, actually will ever talk about the heart of change. And the heart of change is with each and every individual. And so some people will come from, a theoretical approach, is that if we have these systems set up, right, then people should change their behavior. When I hear should, red flag, huge red flag, right? Because what that tells me is that leader is coming from a theoretical model and is making assumptions. They're working from what I call a macro theoretical viewpoint. They're seeing the big picture, right? But they're not willing to really understand about how to change each and every person's behavior, particularly the ones on the front line who have to create the behavior that's going to really ignite the change. If you don't have that, as they say in New Jersey, you ain't got squat. It's dead in the water as you speak. And so what's important is to integrate human performance systems into all your other systems. It's a pragmatic approach. I grew up as a football coach. I get fired, I walk home because they provide the car for me. After every Saturday, I know what my evaluation is. I win, everybody loves me. I lose, don't lose again. 2's a trend, 3's a law. Right? You're gone. Right? But it's got to be pragmatic. And so it leads us to the fourth and final question of change, is that as you're creating the change, whatever strategy that you choose, are you creating resistance or enthusiasm? And if a leader is making assumptions about this should happen and that should happen, that's what creates cynicism within the workforce. And so therefore you're going to receive a ton more resistance than you expect. Okay, so basically what I really focus on is how organisms evolve. And I'm not talking about little amoebas. I'm talking about human organisms, people and the organizations that they operate in, not just where they work in, but just across the board. And what I've learned is I developed this psychological inventory that measures how well people evolve. And what I learned is that basically all the scores fall into a bell curve and indicating a belief system. Now these people over here have very ineffective belief systems. They're very hard to change. They're not going to survive. These people here, basically 70%, 7 out of 10 people, have belief systems that are okay, and if all the external cues and factors are in place, they're going to be fine. But once the external factors become a little bit rougher, they're going to fall by the wayside. These people here, they just see things in a different way. They see things in a way that creates excitement and enthusiasm. They view challenges as something that they want to do. And not only do they accept, they actually pursue. They just have a different kind of a mindset. But a couple of things I learned about these people here is one, is that they're very innovative, is that they trust themselves. And by trusting themselves, they allow their creativity to be expressed. 2 is that they're very good problem solvers. Because they pursue problems, they get more in a habit of solving problems. Right? Another one is that they improve their self-management skills, which basically means they end up making better decisions on a consistent basis. Another one is that they're very good at relationship management skills. They're able to get people to do what they want them to do and have them like it. Mainly because they're in the center of relationships, right? And people depend on them. But the thing that really excites me about these people, because I'm an educator, is that they learn really well. They're very efficient learners. They're very fast learners. They're able to process information and then associate that information and integrate that information with other, and synthesize that into a much bigger picture. Right? And because of that, they are change adept. Now, you've probably heard terms, like change willing. Is the organization change willing? Do they want to change? Is the organization change ready? Are they ready to change? I could give a rip if they're ready or willing. If they're not good at it, I don't care. I mean, who cares if they want to or if they're ready? Because they won't be able to pull it off. That's the reality. So they need additional skill sets. They need to have that belief system, that collective belief system of the organization altered so they can produce the change that they are charged with. So understand that water rises to its own level. A level 4 leader will never lead a level 6 organization. It's just impossible. If a leader was ineffective prior to leading a change, that leader will be equally or more so ineffective attempting to lead change. That's the reality of the situation. They're not going to just magically appear as a great leader. But one thing you can count on, and that's change. Is that today, change occurs more quickly. The 21st century is proving to be a turbulent, volatile, highly unpredictable era. And leaders who don't learn how to change, right, they're gonna watch their organization struggle in the backwash. Right? But change occurs more quickly now. Right? Information replaces itself every 8 to 15 years. Young people can expect to change careers every 10 years and jobs every 4. Right? In this decade, from now until 2020, you will see entire industries disappear, while at the same time, entirely new industries come on the scene. And this is not anything new. I mean, think back to 1990. Nobody heard of the internet in 1990. Think about 10 years ago. Nobody heard of social media. Right? But today at this conference, it's the hottest topic at this conference. It will change. That's the reality. But it's all about the client. It's all about the client. And so the challenge facing today's leaders is to devise systems where employees can express their individual talents and strengths, while at the same time the organization receives the contribution it needs to meet market demands. It's all about the client. And so the challenge really is are you going to be, as a leader, are you going to be the leader who reacts to change? And after the market has become dissatisfied, when are you going to become dissatisfied? Are you going to become dissatisfied after the market becomes dissatisfied and then institute a change? Or are you going to become dissatisfied just prior to the market? Right? The leaders who become dissatisfied before the market becomes dissatisfied, they're the ones who are going to stay ahead of the game. They're the ones who are going to be able to lead change effectively. They're the ones who are going to survive. And that's the reality. I want to thank you. You've been a really terrific audience.